Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a book unhaul. So I'm getting rid of books. I've got 15 books that I am getting rid of today. The main reason that I'm doing this is because I'm moving out of state pretty soon here. I think we've got 10 days until we're leaving the state. So I need to kind of cut down on a lot of things, and I don't really think there's a point in keeping books around that I am not really a big fan of, I guess. So I'm going to get rid of some books. Most of them I'm going to take to a local bookstore here to see if they want to buy any. Any that are left over after that, I will probably either donate to a thrift store or try to find some little free libraries to drop them off in. And I do have a few books that I am sending to a friend of mine who also loves horror, so yeah, that's basically what's happening with all these, but I figured we could do a little video, talk through what I'm unhauling and why I'm unhauling it. So these first three books fit into the category of like a thriller that I didn't love, I didn't hate, but I don't really think about it anymore, and I don't have a strong desire to keep it on my shelves anymore. So the first one I have is Watch Me Disappear by Janelle Brown. This one I read when I was first getting into thrillers, and I did really enjoy it at the time. I don't know if it would still hold up if I were to read it today, and I don't really have a desire to read it again. So why not pass it on to somebody else who might find some joy in it? I do think this is a really pretty cover though, like these foggy trees with just the pink text on top. I would recommend this if you are just looking for a quick little thriller to read. I don't think it's very popular. I don't really see anybody talk about this, but didn't love it, didn't hate it, I suppose. That's that. And the same with The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I think this is a perfectly fine thriller. Don't dislike anything about it. It just is not a strong one that stands out in my mind, and I don't really feel the need to have it on my shelf. I'm not going to really talk about it anymore. I'm not really gonna read it again. So it's just one that I read, I enjoyed, and I'm ready to move on now. And same with this one, The Housekeeper by Natalie Borelli. This one I thrifted a while ago, and I think it was alright. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was not anything fantastic. I don't really remember actually very much that happened. Just a classic little domestic thriller, and that's that. Not gonna read it again. Don't want to keep it on my shelf, so we're getting rid of it. Okay, the next two fit into the DNF category, books that I picked up at one point to read and then decided I didn't want to read them. So the first one we have is The Silent Life by A.S.A. Harrison. I have heard very, very mixed things about this, and I just decided at the end of the day that it wasn't one that I wanted to read. I think I read a couple of pages and the writing style was just not working for me, mixed with how many negative reviews I had seen. I just decided that I didn't want to read it, and that's totally fine. So why keep a book that I'm not going to read? And the next one is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I think I got 70-80 pages in, and there was just a lot happening, like a lot of characters that I was struggling to keep track of. I don't also read a lot of mysteries or like cozy mysteries. I don't know if this is a cozy mystery. I'm not very familiar with the term, but just in general, I don't read a lot of mysteries, and the only reason I picked this up is because it took place in like a senior facility, and I work with seniors, so I thought it would be something that I enjoy. But overall, it's just not my type of book, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to somebody else that hopefully will enjoy it. The next 3 are books that I just did not enjoy. The first one we have is The Hidden Life of Trees. This is a nonfiction book that I really thought I was going to like. It just turned out to be something different than what I was expecting. There was a lot going on that I didn't really fully grasp the concepts that the author was talking about, even though they were interesting to me. I don't think they were explained very well, and they kind of just jumped from one topic to the next very, very quickly, So it wasn't for me. I think people that maybe have knowledge on the topic beforehand are going to enjoy this, but me not knowing anything about what the author was talking about, I was totally lost, and it just wasn't a great reading experience for me. But I don't think overall it's a bad book. I just don't think that I am the correct audience to read and enjoy this one. Then I Love You But I've Chosen Darkness by Claire Vaye Watkins. I was so excited to read this book. It was like one of my most anticipated that I was going to read this year. Absolutely love the cover design, the title, the inside of the book, not so much. It totally lost me. It just made me confused and almost mad reading it. It just was not enjoyable at all. And yeah, why would I keep it if I didn't like it? So hopefully I can pass this book on and it can find somebody who really does love it and appreciate it, although I do love the cover. And the last one in this category is The Last to Die by Kelly Garrett. This, I don't know if it's YA, but it's like a thriller book that I just thrifted on an off chance. I was like, it sounds interesting. It's pretty short. I should be able to get through it pretty quickly. It sucked. This is the first, and I think still the only book that I've ever given 1 star. It just was not good. Like, there was grammatical errors, there were plot errors, the writing was not good. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't know what the heck was going on half the time, and it just was not a good book. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. I left 2 books out of categories that they should have been in. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones was a DNF for me. I got a pretty good chunk of the way through and I was just bored. I wasn't enjoying it, and so I decided to stop reading because I didn't want to force myself to finish a book that I wasn't enjoying. Stephen Graham Jones is hit or miss for me, and I know this book is not a book that is for everybody. The people that love this book will admit that it's not a book that everybody's going to enjoy, and there's not a lot that happens. I think I just didn't really know a lot about it when I went into it. I knew Stephen Graham Jones was a good author, and I thought that it was like a slasher book, but it is different than what I thought it would be, and it just wasn't right for me. So I'm gonna pass this on. This one is gonna go to my friend. Maybe she will enjoy it. I did buy this one brand new. Most of these books are other thrifted books or used books that I've purchased, but this one I did pay full price for, so I'm a little bit sad, but hopefully when I pass it on, it'll find somebody that loves it. And this next book should have been in the books I just didn't like category, Zombie by Joyce Carol Oates. I was bored. I didn't really enjoy the writing style. I didn't enjoy the majority of this book. I think I gave it 2 or 2.5 stars in the end, and I just don't have a desire to have it on my shelf or look at it again, so I'm going to pass it on to somebody else who may like it. I have 5 books left now. None of them really fit into a category. Maybe some of them do, I don't know. But we're just gonna go through them. So the first one I have is Karen Slaughter, The Good Daughter. This is actually a book that I do enjoy and I do like. I just dislike that it is a mass market paperback and it's not in very good condition, honestly. This one I bought used and I read it and I did enjoy it, but it's not one that I want to keep on my shelf in this form. Like, if I decide to in the future buy a hardback copy of it or something, I'm totally fine with keeping that on my shelf. I just don't like that it's a mass market paperback and I want to get rid of it. Then I have The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. This one, it was just alright. I think this is one of very few books that I read it and I was like, I kind of feel like the movie was better. I'm glad that I read it. I didn't hate the book, but I think that the movie was just like more powerful and like had more of an emotional impact. Just the cinematography and the visualization of a lot of things, and the iconic scene with the safe or whatever it is being pushed into that hole that they're filling in, and just how emotional that is to watch, and that doesn't happen in the book. And I don't know. I really enjoy the movie. I didn't dislike the book, but I don't think I'll read it again, and I would rather just get rid of it. The next one I have is Rabbits for Food by Benny Kirschenbaum. I think that's how you say it. This was another book that was just okay for me. It was nothing spectacular, nothing that I'm gonna read again, and nothing that I really think about very, very often. It wasn't a bad book. I just didn't particularly love it enough to keep it and hold on to it. So we're gonna pass it on and hopefully somebody else can enjoy it. And same with Little Heaven by Nick Cutter. I feel like this is gonna be controversial because so many people love Nick Cutter. I love The Truth by him. That is one of my favorite books. The Deep for me didn't deliver what I was hoping it would. Same with Little Heaven. The only thing that really makes me hesitant to get rid of this is that I freaking love the illustrations in this book. Let me see if I can find one. There's one in particular that I really, really like, so just give me a second to find it. This illustration. This is my favorite one. I really like all of the illustrations in here, and I wish that more horror novels came with illustrations like this, and that's the only reason why I'm like, oh, I don't want to get rid of it, but I'm going to pass it on to my horror-loving friend and hope that she can really, really enjoy it, and then if she holds on to it and I want to look at it some more and admire it, I can just go and bother her. And the last book that I'm getting rid of before I move is Life of Pi. This is one that I read because I loved the movie. It's a classic. Everybody knows Life of Pi. Found it at the thrift store, picked it up, read it. Didn't love it, but didn't hate it by any means. And yeah, I just don't really feel like holding on to it right now. Regardless of the book though, I do really, really love the movie. Just the cinematography, I don't know, just it's such a pretty movie to watch. So many scenes in there are just absolutely beautiful as far as imagery goes. So just because I'm getting rid of the book doesn't mean I hate it or I hate the story. It's just, I don't know, I'm probably never going to read this again, so why hold on to it, right? Really, what I feel like for most of this, or just most of the things that I get rid of in general when I declutter, is just the idea that if it's not something that I particularly love, like extensively, I guess, I don't see the reason in holding on to it when I could pass it on to somebody else who may really, really enjoy it. You know, maybe one of these 15 books is going to be somebody else's favorite book in the whole wide world, and me donating it might help them find it. So I'm going to try to pick all these up now. It's kind of heavy, but 15 books that I am unhauling before I move. So yeah, and that is basically it for today's video. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you next time. Okay, I'm done.